What's up, guys? Jason Guyman here, and tonight we're going to talk about scales. No, not the scales that you sit on or you stand on, but how to scale your business, because that is what my goal is to help you, is to grow your business, is to be able to get more customers. And as I had a call earlier today of how to give you a wow factor of, man, I didn't know I could do this much in my business. And that, my friends, are what I'm going to talk about: how you can scale your business, how you can work on your business, how you can grow your business, how you can do things with your business so that your business will grow. And so that, whether you are talking pressure washing or Christmas lights, obviously tonight is Wednesday night, and so it is my Christmas light, but I'm doing it for scaling because it does work for both. And I originally wanted to just do it for pressure washing tonight, but as I sat there and I thought, well, tonight's Wednesday night, and it's supposed to be Christmas lights, but this works for both. And so I will hit on some differences in some areas where it might be a little bit different, but that is where we are going to be hitting on tonight as we talk about how do we scale a business? How do we go from a one-man band to, 1 or 2 employees, 3 employees, 4 employees? How do we go from 100,000 to 500,000? How do we go from 500,000 to $1 million? And so that is what I want to hit on. How do we scale? What do we need to do? I know some of you are like, Jason, I'm just trying to get to my first 100,000, and I think that is awesome, right? And I think that is definitely something that you should do, and I think that it's 100% something that you should do. But I also wanted to just kind of hit on this a lot of how can we grow our business? How can we get it to the next level? I was trying to find a book. I couldn't find it, of what my weekly book is. And so tonight, my book is called Story Brand by Donald Miller. I just got done listening to it. If you have not listened to it, it's how to tell stories in your brand, how to bring stories to your company, how to do a story of how to sell with story, how to build your business with story, whether that's with your emails, whether that's with whatever that might be. And so it's a great book. It's he's actually had 1.0. This is 2.0. It just came out about a month ago. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. I just listened to it. I had a great permanent light class coming this weekend with Mr. Chris Johnson. It was awesome. We had a lot of great people there. We had, it was actually kind of unique. It was pressure washing and Christmas lights. I thought I would get more pressure washing than I would permanent lights. I had more people there for permanent lights. And so a lot of things that with people with permanent lights already have a business. And so it was an amazing class this weekend, because we got to go a little bit deeper than just normal of people starting out and not knowing what to do. So on the marketing side, I went way deep. On the sales, Chris went way deep, and so it was awesome. It was basically how it wasn't just Jason talking all weekend. It was Jason and Chris, and we split it up about every hour. On the hour was someone different. And so Chris, we got to get down into the sales part of things, get down into how to do your presentation, what to say, what not to say, how to say it, when to say it. And so that class was amazing. Again, I always have amazing classes, but that class seemed to really take off and really feel like people, that was kind of grabbing it. I talked a lot about AI. I went into AI a bunch, because if you're not using AI, it is definitely something that you can do and you should be doing. And I know that sometimes we don't want to learn new stuff, and Jason, that's just, I don't understand what to do with it. And that's okay, because you can learn it, you can grow with it, and it can help you get to where you want to be at in the end. And so that is what I want to hit on. And it was great time to meet people. You know, I got to meet Chisholm. I haven't seen Chisholm. I never met Chisholm in person, but he was one of the first people that actually took my Christmas light class in 2000. I think it was 17 or 18. And so it was pretty neat that he was there. I had two people that have taken my classes before. And, you know, one of the guys, Don, was like, man, Jason, I learned more this weekend than I would have never thought I would have learned this much. You know, I ate breakfast with him 2 days. And so I was able to help him and grow his business. He's at about $400,000 last year in year 2 of his business, and he wants to triple. He wants to go for $2 million. I'm like, let's go for it, baby. And you know, he's just open to learn, and he's growing. And he just came from the Hermosi summit the week before, and so you know, it's just neat to see young people that are wanting to grow and wanting to do that. You know, we had a 21-year-old there that did very well in Christmas lights, and he's coming back for permanent lights. And so again, we had people here in the past but came back and they learned a lot more. And you know, I always tell people, you can come to one of my classes and I guarantee you in a year you can come back and you'll learn a lot more stuff, because when you're there, when you're first starting out, you're all worried about the lights, you're all worried about the pressure washing, you're all worried about doing the thing. But then when you come back, you're like, oh, this is what I need. Day 2 of the marketing, right? Of how to sell and the sales and how to sell better and how to read people. You know, I love that when we do like some of the best parts that they had is, you know, going over the disc profile and understanding people, right? Understanding love languages and how I can work with people and how I can sell to people and why won't people buy from me? Is it because I'm not selling it right, or is it because I'm not connecting with that person? And so that's why I bring in the DISC program. That's why I bring in the love languages, because if you don't understand people and you don't understand how they jive, then guess what? Then you struggle with sales and you're like, Jason, you're telling me to raise my prices, but nobody gonna raise my prices because nobody gonna buy from me. And it's like, well, are they not buying from you because you don't know how to sell to them? Or are they not buying from you because you struggle with sales and you try to sell the thing when in reality these people don't want the thing, they want the benefits of the thing? And so that's why it's awesome to see how people are growing and people are doing the thing that they need to do. So with that, what you all been up to this weekend and this week? We got a little snow today. Last night we got about an inch or two more of snow. It's supposed to get cold again next week. I can take this weather and send it somewhere else, send it back up to you north people. We don't need it up here, so you can have it back up there. And yeah, I'm ready to be for the warm weather in spring and ready for that. So BR, what's up? What's up? Ready for knowledge? Good evening from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Good. I'm in it for pressure washing. Awesome. Yeah, like I say, that's what we'll be hitting on, because that's where my mind's kind of sitting at. But this does work for pressure washing and everything else. What's up, Jason? 1 week closer to wash season. Yep, that's right. Be positive, right? I love the positive. You know, we're just 1 week closer to wash season. I love the positivity, right? We could be like, oh, it sucks in the snow and that, but we're just 1 week closer to wash season. Did 60,000 in pressure washing and 60,000 in Christmas lights last year, shooting for a $250,000 total this year. Awesome. Can you make a list of your weekly books? I have a list. I'm not 100% sure. I did make a list, but some of these may not be on it. I don't know if I've kept it up to date. If you go to, let's see if I can find it here real quick. Resources. So, yeah, I know I made a book. Yeah, that's not, yeah, I will probably make a page for just the books, so that way you all can have the books, and that way you all got them. Let me try this other page. I thought I made a page for just of the books, but sometimes my brain don't always think. Installers near me blog. Yeah, I know I have one out there, but I don't know what the page is. I'll have to find it for y'all. So I will do that for you. Investing in yourself is the best investment you can make. That is for sure. Love languages, 100%. Why do I not ever get notifications when you're live? I have so many questions. I'm starting businesses and need help after a million channels. You're the only one that seems to be truthful. Well, that's because I'm pretty much the only one that has gotten to where you want to get to, right? I'm the only one out there that's gotten to $1 million in a pressure washing and Christmas light business, not in other businesses and all of that. And so if you want to know when I go live, there's 2 phone numbers. This is for the Christmas light one. If you're in Christmas lights, when I go live for Christmas lights, you can text the word light, L-I-T-E, to 855-619-5483. Or the other one, if you text the word King, K-I-N-G, to 859-696-1101, and that will get you when I go live. It'll be a text on your phone. I text it to you, and then that way you got the right there when you're doing it. I will be waking up in 5 hours to clear snow for 8 hours. Yay, says no one. Starting to build a budget trailer, all a part of fun. Excited for 2025. Hello, it's happening now. Starting to get some traction. Awesome. About to put my first trailer together. Great job, Nick. Great job. Good evening. How are you doing, Carlos? Awesome. Good for a budget. Good budget for a budget build, or for a budget. Good budget for a build. Depends on if you're building it yourself or having someone. Depends on if you have trailer, how you're putting it, but you're probably looking at about 5 to 10 grand is where you're probably looking at. Can you do it cheaper than that? Absolutely, but it's just a matter of where it is. Any hands-on pressure washing classes coming up? Yes. I will be having one coming up definitely in April. I have one on the schedule for before that, but I don't know, and that'll probably be my last ones for pressure washing. I might have one in March. Originally I was supposed to go somewhere else, but I think I might be having a pressure washing class here, so I'll probably have 2 more pressure washing classes coming up. If you go to KPW Train, TRAIN.com, that'll take you to the landing page. I will have that updated hopefully coming up here for this coming up. All right. So let's talk about, what got me on this subject is I was doing a mentorship call this morning, just a Zoom call, and they had questions. And so they have grown their business. They have gotten their business to doing pretty well. And originally they were following a lot of other businesses in the area, right? They were following that, they were kind of behind, and they were looking at these other businesses, and they wanted to grow and scale. And so the goal of this is how to grow and scale. And so I'm on a Zoom call. He's just joined the mentorship, and by him joining the mentorship, he's raised his prices. He's done a lot more than he thought he would. And so this is how they want to go from about $500,000 to double that, right? They want to get to $1 million a year. And so, one of the things that, as I was listening to him, is one of the first things that we need to do is, you can pull up ChatGPT, you can do this and talks about starting a pressure washing business, starting a Christmas light business. And the first thing it's always going to tell you is market analysis. What is the market? What is your competitors doing? And what I will say is throw that out the freaking door. Because I don't care what your competitors are doing. Because, he was like, the first thing he's like, well, we're more expensive than our competitor. And I'm like, is he a competitor then? Right? And so this is the first thing I will tell you. Don't worry about what these guys are doing. Because if you're just starting this business, I know what you're doing. You're calling around and you're getting 5, 10 different people's pricing. And you're probably not getting 5 to 10 people's pricing because only 1 or 2 people answered the phone in the first place to get back with you on pricing. So then what you want to do is what you think I'm going to do is, well, if Bob down the road is charging $100 and he's doing this, I'm going to charge $90 and I'm going to do better than what Bob down the road is doing. But what we don't realize, or what you don't realize, is Bob is ready to go out of business, right? Bob is ready to go out of business. And so what we do is we look at Bob and we're like, oh, Bob, I want to start my pressure washing business, and Bob is this price right here. And so this is why when I look at things and people will tell you to do market analysis, it is dumb by looking at your competitors. Who cares about your competitors? Now, what I will say is you probably have one competitor in your area that is the highest price around of everybody else. But usually we don't find them right away. We find all these other yahoos and we call them and we're like, oh, I can do it for this price and this. This doesn't matter if I'm talking about pressure washing or Christmas lights. It's both things, or permanent lighting. All 3 things that I'm talking about, people do this all the time. You know how I know they do this all the time? Jason, you just don't understand. You can't get that in my area. And I'll say, how do you know that? Well, because Bob is only charging this price. Okay, so you're basing your thoughts on somebody else that you have no control over or nothing that we can do. So the very first thing is you got to quit worrying about what someone else is doing. Quit looking at other people's bobbers. Now, here is one thing that I will say about this, about market analysis. There is some markets that might be harder than to get it than other markets. And what do I mean? You know, if you're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Kentucky, in the middle of nowhere, if you're in the middle of Ohio and you only have 10,000 people in your immediate area, you might have to drive an hour to be able to get to the locations that you want to be able to scale your business. And this is definitely things if you are going from $500,000 to $1 million or $1 million to $2 million, right? If you're in an area that isn't going to get you $1 million or $1.5 million, then that's a different talk at that point. If you're in a small area, you know, I'm in little old Cincinnati, Ohio. We're about 350,000 people in our area. And if you would have told me that someone could get $2 million a year in a business, I would have said, okay. I would have thought you were a little bit cuckoo upstairs, but I would have thought that in 2025, you could get that probably pretty easy. And to be honest, in the Ohio area, in the greater Cincinnati area. And how do I know that? Because I've got friends that got $2 million businesses here in Cincinnati. The business that I sold is about doing $2 million. Another business that I know, Benjamin, he's doing $1.9 million. And so there's a lot of money out there. You just got to go get it, right? If you sit there and be like, and I get it, if you're just starting out, I understand that too, right? It's hard, right? It's hard because you don't know how to get customers. You don't know how to talk to customers. You don't know what to say to customers. You don't know how to follow up to customers. You don't know how to ask for 5-star reviews from your customers. You don't know how to deal with customers. And I understand that, and that's okay. And that's back to the level of learning, right? You either pay somebody to teach you, or you go out there and do it over and over and over, right? And whether you pay someone to teach you or you do it over and over, you got to do both, right? You got to be consistent at doing it. It's about doing the reps. It's about going out there and getting told no 100 times. And when you get told no 100 times and you get 30 jobs out of that, and so you get told no 70 times and 30 times you get jobs, then you're getting the reps and learning and learning and learning. Now, this is what I will say. If you want to know what KPIs, what key indicator things that you need to be looking at, are 2 things. One is your average ticket. you need to look at this every week. What is my average ticket for this past week? And 2, what is my close rate? Those 2 things are the only 2 things that you control, right? What your average ticket is and what your close rate. If your close rate is at 60, 70, 80, 90%, you're too cheap. Raise your prices. And I mean, if you're at 90%, you need to raise your prices a lot. That means you're way too cheap, right? So if you're at 90%, Jason, I got an excellent close rate. Yeah, what is it? 90%. Awesome. Well, raise your prices because you're too cheap. Don't be cheap. Too cheap, 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 cheap. Don't be cheap, right? And so I see this, right? They'll be like, man, I'm at 90%. All right, raise your prices. But Jason, nothing. Raise your prices. Again, when you look at your average ticket, and if your average ticket is $600 and you got a close rate of 90, you should be getting your average ticket up to $1,000 and get your close rate down to 50%. Because what'll happen is you will make more money and do less work. That's the whole goal of this. If you want to grow and scale, you got to make more money and do less work. Because if you think especially as you scale your business, you might be making enough money for you, right? If you made you can do $500,000 by yourself, right? You and maybe a helper, and you may not even need a helper, and you can do $500,000. That's not a big issue. I know some people might think I'm crazy, but I'm not. I'm seeing it over and over and over. I've seen it, I've seen several people do $500,000 with themselves and 1, maybe 2 people. And these ain't even full-time people. This is just a part-time guy, right? And so that is making them $500,000. Now, if you want to go from $500,000 to $1 million, that means you got to get off the truck, right? Because if you're on the truck, you're probably going to make that truck more money than if you hire someone, because they don't have the go, right? They don't have the gumption that you do. They don't care about your business as much as they care about your business. And so they're not going to do enough. They're not going to do as much as you. So you might have to put 2 people out there to be able to get to your $500,000. So this is where scaling comes in the price, or into this here. Why do we got a price like we have a whole business? Because we got to start paying people to do those things. See, you're doing things right now and you're literally getting paid nothing. You're getting paid $5 an hour. For a receptionist, you're going to have to pay someone $15, $20 an hour. Well, you're doing it right now and doing a really crappy job at it, and you're paying yourself whatever, right? So that's one person. So you got to start paying yourself like you're paying that person. Then you need a technician, right? So now you're doing all the spraying. So now you got to pay somebody that wage. So what you need to do is do the book E-Myth. Figure out your building, right? You want to have an office manager. You want to have and put numbers by it. Hey, I'm going to pay this person $50,000 a year. The office manager, I'm going to pay them $100,000 a year because they're going to run everything, and I'm not going to have to I can get out of the business, right? I can work on the business and not in the business. And I want to have a sales guy, and he's going to make this much. And I want to have this, and he's going to make this much. And I want to have this, and I want to make this much. And guess what? Have this whole line out chart and have it done. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to write your name in each one of those spots, because you are that sales technician. You are the sales manager. You are the office manager. You are the receptionist. You are everybody else, right? So you write your name in there. And your goal is start taking an eraser and erasing out these names and putting in the names that you want to grow your business, right? This is what you do. This is literally what you do is how you do this. And here's the thing. It's back to this book, right? Think and Grow Rich. When you see that chart there, your brain will start making that happen. It's crazy how it works. I don't understand it 100% how it works. But I'm telling you, if you write out what you want to do and how you want to grow your business and what you want, your brain will start making it work. And so that's the awesome part about it. I don't care if we're talking pressure washing or Christmas light business. It will happen. It will happen overnight. Next thing we need to do is the service and pricing, right? We need to figure out what is our pricing for whatever service, pressure washing, Christmas lights, permanent lights. And we need to sit there and stay with it, right? We need to figure out how we're going to be the best at it. We need to figure out how we can systematize it, because if you don't have a system, you're not going to be able to put a person in that seat of where you want them at, right? You're not going to be able to put Johnny in this seat so that he can start running the truck if he has no system. Rather it is, Johnny, you go put up Christmas lights, or Johnny, you go spray a house. If Johnny don't know what to do when he gets to the house, guess what? Your system sucks. And here's the thing. Everybody has systems. Your systems just suck at some of them. So this is where you need to have it wrote down and say, hey, Johnny, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And guess what? That's why I came up with the 25 steps to the perfect house wash, and 25 steps to the perfect getting the Christmas lights installed. Why? Because if you don't have a system for Johnny to do, he's not going to do it. And if you're just like, yeah, I'll do this. And here's the thing. If you have a system, you need to follow the system. So when Johnny's following you around and you're teaching him, you don't be like, yeah, you need to do that, but I'm not going to do that today. You know, those 5 rounds, I ain't got time for those 5 rounds. No, you get your little tail out there and you start walking those 5 rounds. Because if you don't have the system of doing the 5 rounds, if you don't have the systems of doing the things that you need to do, it's not going to happen, because that's part of growing and scaling your pressure washing and your Christmas light business. AI is replacing a receptionist role. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing at all. I'm going to say in 2025, you're going to hear a lot of people that are AI at the end of the day. And so it's going to happen. It doesn't matter what you think, but it will happen. The AI right now for the phone system is pretty freaking crazy. They can sit there and hold a conversation with you. They can do everything with you. It is pretty nuts what the AI can do with you for this. Next thing is this is probably the biggest reason why people can't scale their business. This is one of the biggest ones, is marketing and sales. You need to have a plan, right? You know, I talked about making a plan 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago of a marketing plan. Do you have a marketing plan? Do you know what you're going to do for February? How many signs you're going to put out in February? How many blog posts you're going to write in February? How many Google My Business posts are you going to get in February? How many 5-star reviews are you going to try to get in February? What are you doing in February? All right, now March. Write down what you're going to do in March. How many blog posts are you going to do? How many yard signs are you going to put out? How many LinkedIn things are you going to do? How many networking groups are you going to go to? How many, whatever it might be, you need to write out what you're going to do for January, February, March, April, May, and June. Do 6 months out. And then when June comes around for Christmas lights, do the marketing plan for July, August, September, October, November, December. I am going to put this many signs out in this month. I am going to write this many blog posts. I'm going to post this many times on Facebook. I'm going to post this many times on LinkedIn. I'm going to connect with LinkedIn as many people as I can and max out the 100 that you can every week for this, right? You are going to tell yourself what to do, because if you don't tell yourself what to do, guess what? When you get busy, guess what happens? Well, there goes the marketing right out the door. But Jason, you just don't understand. I'm booked out 3 weeks. Well, let's go back to step 1. Did you raise your prices? If you're booked out more than 2 weeks and you haven't raised your prices, you're an idiot. And I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but that's what you are, because you're losing money. Money's going right out the door. But Jason, my close rate's going to go down. It's going down anyway, because you're booked out 3-4 weeks. Guess what? You're going out of business. I know people that do Christmas lights, and they'll have the whole season booked out for Christmas lights, and they could be getting $25 a foot, but they're pissing it away on a $3 a foot guy, because, you know, I'm booked out forever. Woo! I got my whole season. I'm booked out to December. I got 2 or 3 spots. What? There ain't no way. That's stupid. People are willing to pay you $25 to come out there and do it a foot, or they're willing to pay $1,000 to wash the house, but you're out this Joe Blow's over here doing a $200 house wash or a $500 Christmas light install. Why are you leaving money on the table and just worrying about this guy that ain't paying you nothing? That's not business. That's a business that's going to go out of business. And I don't want you to go out of business. The whole reason why I'm doing this one tonight is how do you scale your business so that you don't go out of business? I see so many people go out of business. I've seen 3 trailers today going out of business. Oh, my plans changed. They're like, my plans have changed. Well, your $30,000 trailer that you're trying to sell tells me that you went all in on this awesome trailer, but you didn't spend jack crap on marketing, and you're going out of business because you didn't make no money, right? Tell us what the real truth is, because you focused over here on the equipment and you didn't focus on the marketing side. So one of the biggest keys for this here of scaling your business is the marketing side and the sales side. How do we get more marketing? How do we do this? How do we do networking? How many yard signs, right? Networking is amazing, man. Are you going to the Chamber of Commerce? Are you going to BNI? Are you going to the local networking groups and meeting people? But Jason, I'm not an extrovert. I'm an introvert, and I don't like to be around people. Then hire somebody that likes to be around people. Hire a salesperson. That's what you can do. That's what you can do right there. Hire a salesperson. All right, so back to operational. Again, you got to have systems. You got to have your guys knowing what to do, how to do it. Safety, right? Safety is another thing that you need to prioritize. When you're hiring people, safety is huge. Man, I've seen more people fall off the roof and get killed this year in 2025 than I don't ever want to see that many. I've seen way too many people fall off the roofs for Christmas lights or get electrocuted. I've seen people do stupid stuff with pressure washers. I've seen the pump up sprayers blow up and different things happening and pressure injecting into their fingers and hands, and that's dangerous, man. You got to make sure that you're safe. And if you want to hire people, you got to make sure that they're safe. You know, I have a whole presentation. I have both my pressure washing and Christmas lights. I have about a 30-minute thing of seeing nasty, gross stuff, nastiness, because I want to scare you a little bit to understand that what this stuff can do. Pressure washing, if it gets in your bloodstream, it can kill you. It can literally go through your heart and kill you. And so it is definitely something that you got to keep in mind and make sure that you don't fall off the ladder. You don't fall off the roof, because those will kill you too. And so, you think that, oh, this is just pressure washing or this is just hanging lights. It's way more than that. And I had a comment earlier today. They said, well, what if you go to these people and they say, Jason, you're more expensive than a doctor? And be like, how many doctors die a year? Now, let me tell you how many pressure washers die a year. How many Christmas light installers die a year? Way more than doctors die a year. Now, in America, I'm not talking about doctors that get viruses that are in foreign countries and different things. I'm talking about just in America here. So just be careful when we're dealing with this. It's so important that safety is first. And then the next one is very important. Customer experience. I think a lot of times I see why businesses go out of business, right? So we were trying to hire a house cleaner. They show up one day. They don't show up the next day. The next week they scheduled us out, never showed up. They came up with 5 excuses why they couldn't be here. And then they moved it to another day and gave us more excuses. And then they didn't show up that day. And then 3 weeks later, they're still giving us excuses. Now, think about this. I see it ain't just house cleaners. It's everybody. People say they're going to do something and they don't do it, right? They don't show up. And so this is something that is very important that you give that customer when you answer the phone. That's a customer experience. How many times have you gotten told that, Jason, you're the first time someone answered the phone? Really? Wow. That's impressive. I thought everybody answered their phone. I thought everybody wanted business. Well, Jason, you just don't understand. It said spam underneath of it, or it was calling from out of town. Yep, you answer those too, because those are customers too. Are some of those spam? Yep. But are some of those customers? Yep. I agree 100%. And so this is what I'm talking about, of how you got to make sure that you focus on providing exceptional customer service. Because in the end, we're not a house washing business. We're not a Christmas light installation business. We are a customer service business. That's what we are. If you provide the best customer service and you answer your phone and you have complete communication with them and you're over communicating and they know every step of the process, and when you get there, they know every step of the process, and halfway through the job, you go get them again. And at the end of the job, you go get them again. And you send, if they're not home, you send them pictures and at the beginning of the job, and you send them pictures halfway through the job, and you send them pictures at the end of the job. And when the job is done, you call them when the job is done, and the next day you follow up with them and make sure they're still happy, and you call them again the next after the job is done and make sure that they're happy, and you build that relationship, and they know who you are, and you know everything about them because you have built an amazing relationship with these people. And guess what? And you go the extra mile. Maybe, you do the things that you know you need to do, and you make sure that they have everything that they need. And if not, you go get it and you make it happen. And that is, my friend, is how you have amazing customer service. And when you have amazing customer service, people are willing to pay for it, right? People are willing to pay to have amazing customer service. Now, what I will tell you is people are not willing to pay for you not to show up. Because when you don't show up, guess what? They don't care about you at that point. Most people think us service guys are not, they're going to show up late. They're going to show up nasty clothes. They're going to show up and not want to be there. And that is why people don't want to do this, right? That's why people don't want you to be there to do their stuff. And so this is definitely something that you have to think about. What can you do? And then how can you innovate your systems, right? What can you do to be different? What can you do to offer them and go the extra mile? Maybe you offer gutter clean outs, and you offer, maybe you do different things, and maybe how do you do with technology? Are you innovating technology? Are you innovating the AI phone system so that way you answer your phone? And are you innovating the follow-up system so that they're automated? And are you innovating AI and talking different and speaking different? And are you using AI to record all of your voice stuff and record the conversation so then you can go back and listen to it and have AI tell you when you lost the sale and why you lost the sale and how you lost the sale and how you can do better, and how you can use your cell phone and do sales stuff with yourself, so that way you can understand when you say something, or maybe I said this, or maybe I said too much, or maybe I said too much, or maybe I said some word that might turn people off that I may not even realize until I started listening to myself. And when you do this, it's going to make you a better salesperson. It is going to make you a better person, so that way you can grow and scale. Because, a lot of times people will have these amazing systems until they all fall apart, because when you start adding people and you don't follow the system, it all falls apart. And so that's something that you need to look at and you need to do. But the number one thing at the end of the day is, don't worry about your Don't worry about your competitors. Don't be watching their bobber. Their bobber is going to go up and down, and you're not even paying your attention. When you're watching somebody else and focus on their business, your business is going to fail. I don't care what they charge. Who cares what someone else is charging? They're probably, again, you have different bills, you have different services. They don't answer their phone. They don't do anything. They don't get coached. They don't do any of that stuff. They don't care about it. They think that's stupid. They think that it's dumb. But what are you doing to change it, right? What are you doing? A lot of you are in here listening and learning and taking action. And that's the biggest thing I'll tell you. You got to be consistent and take action. Is it going to be right? No. Is it going to be perfect? Absolutely not. when you first start doing stuff, it's going to suck. I still have problems. I still struggle. When I take all, here's the thing, I still do what I'm telling you to do. I do it myself, right? I will take this video and I will put it into script, and the script will write out the whole conversation, every word that I say. And then I see all the ums that I say and all the other filler words that I'm saying, right? And so, right, that's one right there is right. I say right a lot. And how do I know that? Because I know it's a filler word that when I go look at it, I see it, and now I try to be better. And I was really bad. If you go back to some of my videos, I'll say a lot. And I see that, and I'm like, crap, how do I not say so much? And so these are things that you have to look at your processes and look at yourself and learn and get better and do better and be better. And when you do that, it's amazing how you can grow your business. You can go from $500,000 to $1 million. You can go from $1 million to $2 million. You can go from 20,000 to 100,000. But you got to take action, and you got to consistently be on it. You know, I know people that do very well on Facebook, right? But they take action every day. They're posting every day 3 to 5 times. Is there times that none of their posts get anything? Absolutely. But you know what? They keep on it, and they do better, and they try to do better and do better and do better. And guess what happens? If you do better today, and you do a little bit better tomorrow, and you do a little bit better the next day, you do a little bit better next year, you do a lot better next year, then when you look back to see where you are a year from now, you can look at how awesome you have grown versus where you're wanting to go, right? The gap in the gain. A lot of time we're always looking at the gap and not the gain. We don't realize how much of a gain we've had. So with that, hopefully that helps somebody tonight. Like I said, I just felt like I had that call today on our mentorship call, and, you know, I asked him, he's like, you know, our competitor that we were looking up to is only at 200,000. We did 500,000. I said, what was the difference? He's like, we got a coach. And I'm like, great for you. I'm the coach, and I've helped them. You know what I helped them do? Raise the prices, make them not think about what your competitors are doing. Who cares what your competitors are doing? Nobody gives two rats about competitors, right? Nobody cares about your competitor. They're not worried about you. Why are you worried about them? All you're doing is focusing your energy over there. So with that, what's your all's questions? AI is replacing receptionist roles. Yes, they are. There's a couple of them out now. It's pretty crazy. There's a couple of them out. And I say you're going to see more and more of them come out. You're going to see a ton of them. And it is crazy of what they can do. You would not know that it's an AI person. If you train it right, you never know that it's an AI person. It sounds just like a real person, and it's pretty crazy at the end of the day. But it is definitely something that by the end of 2025, you're going to talk to so many AI people that you're not even going to know it. Devin, you are correct. I use one. Good afternoon. Hello. Four Brothers Power Washing. Good afternoon. What AI phone service do you recommend, Jason? I've got like 3 of them right now that I'm kind of test trying. So I don't have any that I'm like, this is the best one. And they're all, here's the thing, in 6 months, it's going to get even more crazy. It's going to get even more better at the end of the day. We're just in the very beginning of it. I'm working every day and keep going over my game plan over and over and over. I love this advice. Jason is on point with this all the time. I joined the Chamber of Commerce, and I go 1 time a month for their lunch and leads, things they do. What's the best strategy to milk the chamber and make it worth it? Go without expecting something. Go and find one or two people and build a relationship with those two people every month, right? Build another one, and don't just get their name. You know everything about that person. You set up another date to go eat lunch with them. You find out about everything you can about that, and then you go get more, and then you go do a lunch, and you build this relationship with people. And when you start building relationship with people, I promise you, it'll be like a rocket ship, man. It'll take off. Is it easy in the beginning? No, it is not easy to do this, right? Don't think about it that I'm going there, that I'm going to get all of this business from it, because you got to build a relationship with people. And when you build a relationship with people, I promise you it will pay off tenfold in the end. But if you just go in there to try to make money, it's probably not going to be the best for you. I'm just telling you the way it is. I'm just telling you that you have to go out there and you have to build relationships with people. It's not, when you build these relationship people, it's like dating. If you go meet someone and you just start talking about pressure washing and you need to do my stuff, it's like going on a first date and shoving your tongue down their mouth and French kissing these people. It doesn't work very good, right? You're probably going to get smacked and you're never going to get talked to again. And so it's the same thing. It's building relationships. And what I would say is don't talk about yourself. Ask questions and find out. Everybody likes to talk about themselves. So you ask questions, you let them talk, and build that relationship. Find out what their kids' names are. Find out what their dogs are. Find out what hobby they like. Find out what sport teams they like. Find out everything that you can about that person, and it will be the best thing you ever do. What AI service are you using? Again, I'm trying out a couple different ones. We're Christmas Light Inspiring Nights. I've got it. I almost got it set up and ready to go on that one. I'm not getting a lot of calls on it right now because it's permanent lighting, and I haven't pushed it for the ads and stuff like that, and it's out of season. And so that is one that I'm doing, is what I'm going with right now. Steve Jobs was the best at sales. Just reminded me of him when you were talking about sales. Got on Google today and called 6 power wash in my area, and not one of them picked up the phone. I want to make this real big right here, right? 6 pressure washers companies. But you want to worry about those people when they do answer the phone or call you back, that they probably aren't going to call you back. And then you wonder why people can't get business. Jason, I can't grow my business. These 6 people will be the 6 people that'll call me and tell me they can't grow their business. Because, Jason, in my area, you just don't understand. There's these $99 guys that are just ruining the industry. Well, they're not answering your phone is the first part of ruining your industry. You, again, take ownership. Extreme ownership. If you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it. Extreme ownership. If you're blaming somebody else, the reason why your business isn't growing, it's your fault. Your fault. It ain't nobody else's business except yours. If your business is not growing, it is your fault. You can blame everybody out there against the sun, but in the end, there's only one person to blame. When you're pointing your fingers at people, you got 6 fingers pointing back at me, right? Because my thumb and my pointer fingers are pointing at other people, but all my other fingers are pointing back at me. So that is whose fault it is. If your business fails, it is your fault. It ain't got nobody else to do with anybody else. You can't make their business grow if you can't make your business grow, right? Because if you're worried about everybody else, this is the problem. I called 6 people and not one person answered the phone. Think about that. Think about that. What if one person picked up the phone, would have got the job? One. Only one person had to pick up the phone and they would have got the job. How amazing is that? So quit worrying about your competition, because I wouldn't call this competition. They're not answering the phone. They're taking care of themselves at that point. So Think about that when you're worried about your competition and you're wanting to look at their competition and Jason, they're splitting this out and boom. There's only one person that is in control of your business, and that is you. If it fails, it's your fault. If it does amazing, it's your fault. But in the end, it's your fault, no matter what. Yes, sir. Thank you for all of this. What I need is a way for 3 people to use the same number. Yep, you can do that. I have a system that does that. I can ring 3 people at the same time. Late again. Well, you're going to have to go back and rewatch it, Mr. George Yost, because this was a good one, I think. Hopefully somebody got something. Answer the damn phone. I agree. He is not yelling, folks. Jason is passionately speaking. I am. You're right. I'm not yelling. You're 100% right. I just get passionate. The same guys that don't answer the phone are the same guys that pull up your yard signs, which is frustrating. It is true that I would agree with that. Unfortunately, that is true 100% because they're worried about that they can't get business. I can't get business because this guy got yard signs out. But you know what? Karma is always bad. Train your minds. You're not selling pressure washing. You're selling value. Right? You're not selling pressure washing. You're selling, everybody wants to sell the service and not sell the benefits. What are the benefits? Can you write me the benefits? I'd like to see some benefit. What are some benefits that people get when that you have their house pressure wash? What are some benefits of Christmas lights? I'd like to see, I want to hear, write them in the comments. I want to hear what you all think some benefits of pressure washing is. And what are some benefits of Christmas lights? And what are some benefits of security, I just gave one away. What is some benefits of permanent lighting? What is some benefits of it? Right? Not the product. What are the benefits? Because I see people be like, we don't do pressure washing. We do soft washing. And they give a whole spiel on the whole thing about soft washing and how we're going to make, we're going to use this chemical and we use low pressure and blah, 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 right? We love to sell the product. This is a C9 bulb. We have the brightest C9 bulb out there, and it uses less energy, and we make sure we peak the bulb, and we point everything out, and, we do all of this stuff. Permanent lighting. We use this system, and we use 24 volt, and we have a 5-year warranty and a 10-year warranty, and we have blah, blah, blah. We just spewing, right? We're just puking out bull crap that they don't give 2 craps about. What are the benefits? What are the benefits? That's what I want to know. What are the benefits for pressure washing? What are the benefits for Christmas lights? What are the benefits for permanent lights? What are the benefits? Let's see what we got here. We got some coming. We got, get them, quality communication with Dan Maddox all the time in both businesses. Permanent lighting on businesses drives up visibility and profits, right? What's the benefit? You're going to get more customers. That's a benefit. How's it going to get me more customer, Jason? Because they're going to see your business. That's how, guess what? You're going to get more money. And this is a benefit. This is a proven benefit by quite a bit of people that I know that do this tell me that my customer said my sales went up. Well, no crap, Dodo. This happens when you can actually see your business. The benefits of pressure washing and permanent lights is building relationships. How's that work? Tell me how that works. Property value, especially for roof washings, right? Property value. That's a benefit, right? Your house is going to be worth more. If you're selling it, you can get an extra $10,000 out of it. Again, that's the benefit. Increase curb appeal, pride in your home, saving time, and having it done right. Saving time is more of a benefit than any of those other things that you put on there, right? Saving time. Why is saving time? Because they want to go do their house. They want to go see their kids' their soccer game. They want to go see their kids' stuff. They don't want to be out there all day pressure washing. You save them a lot of time. That's a huge benefit, right? And we skip that very little. We give that very little emphasis. We worry about all the other spewing crap versus spewing stuff like, we're going to save you time. You know what? We answered the phone. We're saving you time. There ain't no use to you all calling the next 6 people. You already called 6 people. None of those people called you back. And if they do call you back, what's the likelihood of that they're going to get there and do what you need to do, right? What happens the next time that when you need to call them back, they don't answer the phone when you do need them, right? We're going to save you time. We're going to save you time. That's a benefit. That's a huge benefit. It's too cold up here. It's PA. 2 weeks, I'll start my business plan, including social media, Google Ads, and a good old-fashioned AdSense. Don't do 2 weeks on the social media. Do it now. You can start posting that now, big time. Don't be afraid. Start posting. Start doing that right now. You got pictures from last year. You got videos from last year. Do that now. Roof wash keeps incomes off your butt, right? Yeah, that's a great one. You know, if you know that people are getting called back or they called you, that's all you need to sell on. Pressure washing can eliminate pollens and allergens that can accumulate on the exterior of the home. Okay, but what does that have to do with? Well, you know what? My son's got allergies and he keeps sneezing and he keeps doing, oh, great. We're going to help that. Right? We're going to clean this house so that your son quits sneezing in that. Now, did you know that? No, you knew that because you had talked to them and you built a relationship with them and you know that her son has allergies. Now we're going to sell on it because we listen. We shut up and we listen to the customer. And the customer will tell you what their benefits that they want. The customer will tell you what they want. When you got your mouth open, guess what? They don't know what you want. You don't know what they want because you got your mouth running too much, because you're vomiting all of the stuff that you do and all of the stuff that, right? There's a study out that the person that let the customer talk 60% or 70% of the time and they only talk 30% of the time versus where you talk 70% of the time and the customer only talk 30% of the time, it was like a double or triple of the sales by letting them talk. Because when you let them talk, you're able to sell what they want. But if you don't know what they want, you can't sell it. I don't care what we're talking about. Pressure washing, Christmas lights, permanent lighting, anything. If you don't know that, right? Because here's the thing. How many people are scared of the dark? I'd say most people are scared of the dark, especially females. Who do we sell to? Females. So guess what? We're selling with permanent lighting, security. We're selling security lighting. We're going to make it not dark outside. So that way, when somebody bad is less likely to come to you, if that's the case, right? And that's how we do that. That's what we're selling. We're not selling all this other stuff. Providing a service that increases property value or creating that magic moment for holidays. Yes, right? That magic moment for holidays. I agree 100%. That wow factor is the best. Pressure washing can prevent avoidable maintenance costs caused by dirt and grime buildup. Again, we're selling it. Your wife's happier. Now that, my friend, is a benefit. Who in here think that's a benefit? I think that's a benefit. If I can get some tonight because my wife's happier, I'll take that all day, and don't think that you're not cleaning houses because she's been nagging at him for 6 months or a year or 2 years. And he gets it done. He gets lucky. We like lucky. Your customer finds benefits when they have joy. Do the job, make them happy, benefits them, benefits you. Yep, allow them to buy back their time. Great book. Trying to fix my trailer on these 40-degree days. Yeah, that's stupid. It's cold. You make your customers happy when you charge more, when you charge enough. So charge more. Happy wife, happy life, and then a baby comes. It's usually how that works, if you didn't know how that works. But again, I just want you all, hopefully you guys took something out of this. I want you to start taking action, because hope don't get you nowhere, right? Hope, you can hope all day long. I hope to get $1 million. Well, you hope ain't going to get there. What are you going to do to take action and make that happen? What are you going to start doing to make that happen? So what I would tell you is go check out King of Pressure Wash. Go check out ChristmasLights.io. If you haven't joined the membership, you should. That way you can get around people that want to grow their business and learn. If you want to do mentorship, I have a mentorship program. I do have 1 or 2 spots left open. KingofPressureWash.com/mentorship. Even if you're doing Christmas lights, I put it all under one. But KingofPressureWash.com/mentorship. I do have some trainings coming up. I don't have all the details in there yet. I'm going to try to get that in there before the end of this week for the next 2 for sure. They're probably both going to be in the Cincinnati area, which they are right next to the airport. You can fly into the airport. You can get either an Uber, or some of the hotels got that, and then the training will be really close to that. So that's what I will say, that I'll be having a training in March and April. KPWtrain.com, or you can go to King of Pressure Wash and look at the in-person training schedule. Again, marketing is important. The how-to is great, but the marketing is what's going to make or break you. So with that, I hope you all have a great week. I know that we got some crappy weather coming up next week, supposed to get back down in the teens and single digits here. So that's going to slow some things up. But after that, it's looking like we might be able to get back to get pressure washing in June, or hopefully we get done before June, in March. But I always say, people always ask me, when did we start pressure washing? I always say, when you start mowing your grass. That can be March or April. Usually around here, it's about mid-March, mid-April, mid to beginning of April is where you'll be at. But with that, I hope you guys have a great night, and we'll see you all later, and go take action.